one of my pet hates is if I ask you, why do you do something that way? If you tell me that's the way we've done it forever, then can I tell a quick story? It's been told in different guises, but I love it. It is just so, it epitomizes, I think, how I feel. Young married couple just came from honeymoon, and new wife is going to make husband favorite dinner, so the roast leg of lamb, and he's watching, doting over her, and he watches her. She cuts off the last 3 or 4 inches of the leg of lamb and puts it next to the ham, shoves it in the roasting tray in the oven, and he says, "Why do you do that?" So she says, "Oh, it's a good question. Well, my mum always used to do it." So a couple of weeks later, at mum-in-law's, and same thing, he's sitting chatting, and mum does exactly the same thing. So it's the same question. Well, I don't know. My mum used to do it. I tell you what, let's ask her, because Gran's coming around for lunch. We'll ask her later on. So later on in the meal, I said, "Gran, get this. Why did you cut the leg of the lamb off?" She said, "Well, my roasting pan was only so long, and I couldn't fit the whole." So I put it. So the moral of the story is, question why we do things. If the reason is still valid, by all means carry on with it. But it's so often that we do things just because our predecessors did, and we've forgotten. Actually, is the roasting pan the right size?
Yeah. I think also what you're alluding to is the habits, the subconscious habits that are ingrained, which are very difficult to shift because you've got to replace them with new habits. I think that for many people is the challenge.
But there are ways to do that. There's ways to do that. Try and figure out, first of all, what triggers that habit. And what you do. I used to be a smoker, and one of the triggers for having a cigarette was immediately after dinner, I would go outside and have a fag. And then, I can't remember who was that told me that, but just change that slightly. Instead of getting up and going outside, get up and take the dishes into the kitchen. You don't have to wash them. And it just broke that thing. So change the trigger. There's all sorts of ways of doing it.